Righto, well, another winter's morning here in the Upper Hunter Valley. Another frost and a bit of a fog to start with. Thought we'd come back today and have a look at this putting green and just see how it's going now. We're sort of in midwinter. As I said, another frost this morning, and that cut I just did then. So we're pretty much now not getting anything off it. So the growth now has finally stopped in June. Scratch that, in July. Mid-July, it's finally slowed up a bit. Let's have a quick look in that catcher and we'll see what's in there. Righto, let's see. Yeah, no, look. There's not much in there at all. That's about, when did I cut this last? About a week ago. So yeah, no, you fair to say it's now stopped. That's all we're going to get. Righto, so about a week ago now, I put out another liquid feed application. So I used obviously our trial products, which are the Plant Doctor. So on this occasion, I used the Seaweed Secrets, Nature's Wetter Soil, and the Activate Mate. So you've got your tonic, your fertilizer, and some soil wetting agent. Now, we are still losing colour a little bit each week. I'm pretty sure though that the applications of those products are just reducing the speed at which we're going to lose colour. This year for me, it's been a big learning curve as well, because in the past, as I've mentioned before, I just let this thing go. I just walk away from it in winter and come back in spring. And obviously in the front yard, up until this year, it's been oversown with ryegrass for that dramatic effect. So I've had a huge learning curve this year, and so far I'm really impressed with how the front yard is hanging on. I am honestly impressed with how this is hanging on as well. Probably going to chuck out a bit of iron here too. Might do that later this afternoon. And I wanted to show you, I've been having a little bit of I'm thinking out loud at the moment, but shock horror, I'm thinking about killing off some of this green and replacing it with a different variety of cooch. Okay, so yes, you did just hear right, and I did say that I'm thinking about killing off some of that green. Now, a bit of a story time. Shortly after I built this place and moved in, I was actually up at my cousin's place. They live on a property, on a farm there just out of Oakey on the Darling Downs. And there's a turf farm from there not too far away, and lo and behold, they sold Tiff Dwarf Cooch at a realistic price. It was $5 a square metre. So I thought, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get me some of this stuff and just see how it rolls, and I'm going to plant some. Well, so anyway, so I bought 10 square metres, and I chucked it in the back of the ute, and I brought it home. And this area here near the water tank at the time was the only place that I had that was suitable for chucking down in turf, because back then this place was an absolute construction zone. Anyway, it was a bit steep, and I thought, right, I'll just chuck it there for now. I'll just see how it performs, and we'll make my decisions based upon that. Anyway, it went really well, and I thought, beauty, I'm going to use this stuff to make my putting green out of. So by the time it came to build the putting green, that mob sold, shut down briefly, then changed hands. Lo and behold, no longer growing Tiff Dwarf Cooch. That's just my luck. So I had 10 square metres, I had it there. It used to be part of the green, so the green used to come round and along here. Anyway, it was too steep, and it needed to be levelled out with some fill. So unfortunately I had to sacrifice that section of the green to the fill. And that was sort of the end of that. I thought, right, yeah, I'll roll with the Santa Ana Cooch. It's a fine grass, and it'll have to do. Now, it's always been in the back of my head that maybe I'm just going to change this out. I don't know of anybody who's commercially growing this stuff anymore, and I understand you can do sprigs and you can go to a bowling club and you can go down this track. I realise all of that. But this here's been covered now with probably a foot, maybe 2 feet of black soil, and I've noticed in the probably just coming into autumn, winter, that the Tiff Dwarf started to push back through. So therefore that gives me some genuine Tiff Dwarf Cooch at my disposal. So I'll just show you quickly how it's pushing back through, and I'm thinking of just maybe starting with a small section of the green and starting to grow it in. But I'll give you a look-see, and yeah, let's go. Righto, so here's that section, and over here, got some starting to push through all the weeds. Anyway, forget the weeds. We've got some starting to push through here, and a much better patch up here. So I'm thinking I'm going to do something with it, and it just continues as we go up. It's just pushing through, and an ultra dwarf putting green would be the go, and it's right up here as well. Righto, so I've got absolutely no doubt in my mind that there's quite a few of you out there at home that know exactly what Tiff Dwarf is, or ultra dwarf cooches are. Now look, for you guys that aren't so sure, I've got some samples here put aside, and I'll just run through them with you, and you'll quickly see the differences between the different cooches. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different cooches here, and I would challenge anybody, and I remember this from my tech days, I'd challenge anybody who reckons that they can identify, I mean obviously maybe apart from the ultra dwarf, I would challenge anyone to be able to tell me what that is, what that cooch is, and what that cooch is. And I can promise you now, it would be a guess. It would be an absolute guess. Now, I'll just let you in on a secret, okay? So the first one here, this is the new kid on the block. This is your Tiff Tuff, okay? So that's the Tiff Tuff there. Coming along, we've now come across here. So this is now the Santa Ana cooch. So you can see we're a little bit finer than the Tiff Tuff. Here's another bit of Santa Ana here. So you can see the stems are much finer than the Tiff Tuff, which is quite thick. Now here's the Aussie of the bunch. This is Winter Green. Now this has been around a long time. Winter Green. It's a good Aussie cooch. Very drought tolerant, very reliable. You can notice its thick stem, so you can see it's a denser stem than the Santa Ana. When you put them side by side, it's much denser. And then finally, we come across to the dwarf and the ultra dwarf cooch. Now you can see straight away how fine this stuff is. It's just, you bring it across here to these other ones. We'll put it here next to Winter Green. You see there's a huge difference, chalk and cheese. So you can imagine the putting surface from the ultra dwarf cooch there, and even its brother, Tiff Tuff, again chalk and cheese. So that's an ultra dwarf cooch. So when you put them side by side, you've got to admit it is very hard to know what you're looking at. And I do actually have a little chuckle at times when people put photos up of, what cooch have I got? And honestly, people are only guessing. There's 50,000 cooch varieties out there, and you can have a sort of a educated guess, but unless you're doing scientific evaluations on it, and it's sent off to a laboratory with a seed head attached, a stem, leaves, etc. No one can be sure. Nobody can be sure. Anyway, look, we have probably come off track just a little bit, but I just thought it would be interesting to just to sort of share that with you guys and show you sort of those different ones, and sort of a little bit of what's going on in my mind as to, do I start to change out some of this green, just one of the corners, maybe a square metre to start with, and then scarify it as time goes on, and then do along the whole pathway out to a metre or something like that. Who knows? Look, I might just try it and see how we go. I've got nothing to lose. But anyway, look, let's have a quick look and see how this putting green here behind me is actually putting. I mean, it might be losing a bit of colour, but let's just see how the ball rolls on it. Righto, well, that's about all I got for you today. Look, make no apologies, I would have to be the world's worst golfer, but hey, it's all a bit of fun, and that's why we do it. Righto, look, thank you very much for tuning in again. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends about it too if you think there's someone who may be interested. I'm off to wash that mower down now and pack it away, and probably go and have some lunch. Righto, over and out. We'll see you next time. Bye.